Hey guys, Corey again, back with Savage Patriot Polymers. Today we want to go over the best preparation for PolyKote, PolyKote Pro, PolyKote Enhanced, all PolyKote products. So what we've used in the past is, we would prep the substrate. In this case, what we did is we sanded. This is granite. We sanded the granite with 80 grit sandpaper. We did it both on the top and on the faces. After that was done, we cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol, and we're going to do that one more time because it's been sitting around before we pour. But what we want to demonstrate in this video is the best application process. What we've all been taught in the past is the same thing: sand the surface, clean it real well, and apply the bare paint and primer, bonding primer. What we've learned over the past, and we're always doing testing, is that it performed okay. But what we're going to show you today actually performed the best. And we've done it on multiple substrates, whether it be granite, quartz, formica, you name it, MDF, we've done it. So today, what we're going to do, like I said, is we're going to use PolyKote Pro. This is going to be not only our color coat, but it's also going to be our primer coat. So right now I'm going to clean this surface with some 91% isopropyl alcohol. Okay, just going to clean it down and wipe it. And it's very important, guys, when you're doing this, to make sure all the alcohol has fully evaporated off. So PolyKote is different than epoxy. PolyKote is sensitive to moisture. So during application, we want everything to be dry, off gas fully, and which is why PolyKote actually works really well as a primer. We're going to demonstrate that. So after this is done, what we're going to do is we're going to tint this with our white ink. Okay, and again, this is only, we don't want to oversaturate it. You don't want to go more than 5% of the tint into the PolyKote. Again, the idea is we're looking for a background color. So it can be opaque, it can be transparent, it doesn't matter. Again, we're looking for bonding. And PolyKote is always going to bond to itself really well versus any other products out there. So again, with our products, this is the method that you're going to want to do. Once this is dry, tomorrow we're going to come back, we're going to sand the bonding primer, and then we're going to apply our color coat. Once all of those steps are completed and done, we're going to perform a pull test on this to show you the results of what we're talking about and why it works best. So right now we're going to use, again, PolyKote Pro, and it's a 1-to-1 material. So I am going to pour the B in first. Give me one moment. Again, 1-to-1. So we'll just do 16 ounces. It's going to be quite heavy for this, but I want you to, and actually, I don't know where I was going. I went heavier than that. So we're going to go a little more than that because I wasn't paying attention. And could you grab me the drill there, young lad, please? So we're going to have some waste. That was my fault, and that's okay. The reason I pour the B in first is because it's thicker. When you pour the A in, it doesn't splatter everywhere. If you pour the A in first, followed by the B, you're going to get a splatter kind of, in your face, potentially on your substrate. So again, that's how we like to do it. So I'm going to mix this for 2 minutes. Siri set a 2-minute timer. So again, with PolyKote Pro, you have about 45 minutes, 30 to 45 minutes. So I'm not in any rush, especially for this. This part is the simple part. And again, as you can see, all we did was tint it a little bit, and I can't see the granite through here right now. So what we're going to do right now is I'm just going to use my hand and I'm just going to wipe it in. Again, the important part is we want to cover these edges really nice. And what we're going to do on this is we're going to wipe everything in really, really well. Don't be too concerned if you can see the granite through this. Again, bonding, this is your bonding coat. So you want to just kind of go through this whole thing, make sure you get even coverage. That's the important part. If you can see some of the underlying material, it's not that big of a deal. Don't worry. And what's going to happen is this is actually going to bond within the granite and the stone itself and become one. And we know that based on our testing. So again, we're going to do a pull test and we're going to provide everyone with detailed images and testing information as to what we did, how it performed, and how, in most cases, how it outperformed other products on the market. I forgot this actually had a face on it too. So I'm just going to add a little bit more. We don't need this coat too heavy. We kind of want it to be not tight, but you know, on the tighter side, if you will. This isn't your color coat, so again, doesn't need to be crazy. Now, actually, what's kind of cool is because I can see a little bit of this undertone, I like it. But again, it's going to depend on the type of color you're going with on the end result. All right, so now just going to tap the whole thing in. Do we have a torch around here somewhere? We just moved in this studio here, so we're still kind of getting everything put together here. So we don't have everything exactly where it goes. The other important part I want to let everyone know is on the face, obviously we wiped the face in. I believe it looks okay. Yeah, you can still see some color, and again, that's okay. So you want to take your hands, you want to rub it on the bottom here. So what we're trying to do is create a nice seal of the PolyKote into that stone. And again, if you do this, you know, for about, I don't know, 20 minutes, it's going to help you for the next step when it comes to, you know, sanding drips and things like that. You're actually going to have a real nice tight surface to work off of. So we don't have to torch this, but I'm going to just to warm it up. It's a little cool in this room right now. Clean my hands off so I don't get material all over my torch. That's another important fact. If you continue to put your sticky fingers on this button is going to stick and you're going to have problems in the future with it not working. So all we're going to do is just torching it one time just to help assist it lay down, and that's it. So stay tuned for tomorrow. Once we come back, and we're going to scratch this up really well. We're probably going to use around a 120 grit. We're going to clean it with water because it's still within the curing stages of the PolyKote. So with a PolyKote, it's really important to know a couple things. One, do not use isopropyl alcohol as far as micas or anything like that in it while you're working with it. If you do choose to use alcohol, maybe to clean it in the future, it's best that you wait about 72 hours. Anything before that, you're going to want to use water. So just use water, wipe it off real good, make sure it's dry, move on with the next step. Hey guys, welcome back. So yesterday we went through this primer installation. So again, just to recap, what we did is we sanded the granite. We cleaned it real well with isopropyl alcohol. And today, and then we applied our PolyKote Pro directly to that. So it's been 24 hours. And today, all we're gonna do is we are gonna sand this piece with a 220 grit. We're going to clean it because it's only been 24 hours. We're going to use water to wipe it off instead of the isopropyl alcohol. So we're going to scuff it up really good. We're going to clean it, and then we're going to apply our color coat, and we're going to show you just how easy it is to go over granite. So stay tuned. We're going to go ahead and sand this real quick. Okay, now that that's done, we're just going to take just another piece of 220. We're just going to clean up the face here. As you can see, you can still see some of that old granite. That's perfectly fine. That is okay. And all we're doing right now is we're creating a mechanical bond for our color coat. We just sand this. And again, yesterday what we did, there's very little to no drips on this. We kept wiping it for about 35 minutes or so, so that we have a nice sealed tight edge here. So now we're going to wipe this off. I'm going to kind of dust it off first with a dry cloth. Okay, now I'm just going to spritz a little bit of water on it, not much. All we're trying to do is give us a nice clean surface for the color coat. Now remember, this water has to be fully dried 100%. PolyKote is hydrophobic. It does not like moisture, and it will break the curing process. So make sure the piece is dry before going on with the next step. Okay, so that's dry. Just going to run this kind of over it, make sure we got all our boogers out. And again, the important part is we're looking for a mechanical bond, which is why we sanded. Okay, now that it's all cleaned up, we're good to go with the next step. So we are going to do just a white, and we have a couple other fun colors we're going to add in it. So we're going to mix up PolyKote Pro. So again, our primer coat, PolyKote Pro, direct to the granite, no paint and primer or anything like that, just direct to it. And now again, PolyKote Pro, and we like to pour the B first. So we're going to go this. I'm only going to do about 16 ounces, only because this is about the least I can get in these mixing cups here. So if you pour the B first, it's heavier. That way the A, it's thinner. It can just drop in the thicker material without splattering everywhere. So it's always recommended that you pour the B in first. Okay, so now we're going to mix this for 2 minutes. So now what we're going to do, we're going to, if I can get a mixing stick here. So that's our clear. We're going to do a majority of it in white. And then we're also going to have a couple other fun little colors here. All right, so we're going to, again, this is the white base tint for our countertop, so make sure to shake it really well. I do a 3 to 4 second count. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll take a look at what that looks like. And again, once you close the lid, just wipe the top. That'll keep it from sealing itself up. So that's that one there. We're going to go with this fun teal color. This will be one of our new colors we'll have here shortly. Actually, let's do more of that. So we're just going to add some in here. Now the micas take a little bit more to actually penetrate the material here. And now we're going to do kind of a satin charcoal gray color in the last one. So we didn't have too much of that on hand. So mix these in real well. So again, starting with my white, we'll see how it looks. Make sure it's saturated. Look at the stick, so I like it. It looks good. Probably should have done a little bit more white. I'm not sure what I was thinking, but that's okay. Okay, now we're going to mix up the teal. And again, just mix the micas really well. Some people like to use alcohol to kind of saturate the pigment. Do not do that with PolyKote. Again, hydrophobic. Alcohol has water in it, so we don't want that. So that's mixed up real nice. And this charcoal color here. See how this mixes up. Probably should have used some of this for more white, but hey, no big deal. We're just here to play. Mix this up real well. We don't want to get shooting stars. And we have plenty of working time, especially for this small piece here. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to kind of pour out some of our colors. We're going to let it go down the face. There we go. So now, see, I got a clump right here, which is what you don't want. So make sure to remove things like that. Probably should have mixed that for a little longer. So kind of gives you a good idea of what not to do. Okay, so now we're going to lay our white. And then what we're going to do is blend all of these colors together. See what happens. So we can use our fingers, we can use a stick, we can use a roller. Really, it's up to you as far as the application goes. Let's see how that face looks pretty good. So now let's do this. Let's start off with the roller. We're not trying to roll through it. We're really just trying to push the material. So, and if you let it kind of puddle up, it does some really cool effects. So again, just kind of drag through it. If it rolls a little, that's okay. But really, we're just trying to push that material around so it can do some really cool stuff all on its own, especially using our pigments. And actually, that's a really cool looking, really cool piece. And really, I mean, there's nothing to it, guys. It's super, super simple. You just, play with it for a little bit. But again, the main reason we're doing this piece is to show you what you can get away with as far as your edges. And see, we have a couple little gunks here, so that's fine. We're just going to take a stick and work them out. And so you can use this stick to kind of go through it as well. You're going to get a slight different effect. So now all we're going to do, you don't have to use a torch, but it's a little cool in here. We're just going to warm it up. It's just going to help it kind of move around a little bit. It's going to help close some of those gaps. So now when you look at this piece, and again, I got some more boogers here. And actually, you can just take your finger, poke them out. Okay, so if I look at the face here, I guess let me add a little bit more right here. You can always add more color. but you can't really take it away. So keep that in mind when you're doing this. Okay. So again, just warm that up where I pass through. Now, for people worried about their edges, I think this has a pretty nice look to it. And as you can tell, did it cover the front here? It covered the front of the granite. So some of that granite, yeah, let's show them. Go ahead and come in, take a look at that. Some of that granite was showing through our primer coat. And again, we didn't panic. We didn't put spray paint or anything like that. We just sanded it and went directly over it. And now you can see we have full coverage along the entire face. So again, we're going to wipe the drips for 25-30 minutes. So I like to take it when it's real wet and wipe it in, because that's going to create a real nice tight seal. And then once that kind of tacks up a little bit, we're going to go ahead and wipe the drips again. But yeah, I'm very happy with this. And the adhesion, the PolyKote to PolyKote is the best adhesion you can have, and the PolyKote actually penetrates really well. So the substrate in the granite, for example, it penetrated really well. So yeah, if this were in your kitchen, or even in a business, this would be the application that we recommend. So stay tuned. Tomorrow, we'll let this sit for 24 hours, and then tomorrow we'll go ahead and sand it and put our top coat on, and then we'll wait a couple days and do our pull test and show you the results. Today, we are here to do our top coat. So what we did, it's been 24 hours since we did our color coat. So just a recap, we'll kind of go over the process and what we did. So this was a piece of granite. We sanded the granite real well with 30 grit sandpaper. We cleaned it off with isopropyl alcohol. Once the alcohol evaporated off, we then applied a small amount of PolyKote Pro, and we tinted that with about 5%, actually just under 5%, and we applied it to the whole surface. We then waited 24 hours, and then we came back and we applied our color coat using, again, the same product, PolyKote Pro. Put our inks, and this is what we came up with. So today what we're going to do is we're going to apply our top coat, and this is the brand new Fortified. This is the gloss version. So what we're going to do today is we're going to sand this piece using 320 grit sandpaper. So we're going to begin by doing that. We're going to clean the surface off again, and then I'm going to show you how to roll out our top coat. So here we go. All right. So now all we did is we hit the front. We didn't apply too much pressure. What you don't want to do is burn through your color coat. So again, I just kind of knocked it down a little bit. I'm going to finish it off by hand. So I want to make sure and hit this corner. The purpose for sanding this whole thing, obviously, is for adherence purposes. So we want to make sure that our top coat adheres real well. And also, if you have any nibs or nubs, anything like that, you want to go ahead and remove those during that process. So once this is all sanded, which is actually, our faces turned out really, really nice. Again, this is the process that we're trying to teach people in order to have a really good bond if you want to go over your existing granite. So that's water. Again, because it's only been 24 hours, we don't want to introduce anything too harsh like isopropyl alcohol or anything like that right now. If it's been about 72 hours, you can go ahead and clean that surface with isopropyl. But for now, we're just using a water just to clean off the dust. Again, another thing to mention, once this is cleaned off, you want to try to avoid touching it everywhere. That's how you're going to get the oils from your hands are going to transfer and contaminate it and possibly create some issues with your top coat. So, make sure to wear a glove, and we will get there. I will put our glove on here shortly. But as I'm cleaning, just be careful and try not to touch it with your hands. All right, so now get some gloves here. So I'm going to show you kind of a quick, easy way, especially if you have a small piece like this. Again, it's just a small sample piece to show you what we can do with the product. So if you don't want to waste a mixing container on something this small, it's a real simple process. So what we've done is you just take a Sharpie, and you can make a mark anywhere. It's not on that one, it's on this one. Make a mark anywhere on this cup. It can be anywhere. What we're going to do next is we're going to take the A component and we're going to fill this guy up twice. It's a 2-to-1 recipe. So we're going to fill this up twice. We're going to empty it out into another container, and then we're going to follow up with the hardener and just do that once. That's your 2-to-1. So I'll show you how to do that. We want to mix this up. Just give it a nice little shaking. So now we're going to fill this up twice and then transfer this into our other container. That way we kind of save money. These are cheap cups. You can get them at, dollar store. But this is the quick, easy, cheap way of doing it. Make sure all your contents are emptied out. And let me get a mixing stick here. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. So that'll be our 2 with the A. Right up to that line. Okay, so that's our 2. And again, for those who don't know, easiest way without even reading the label, this guy here is bigger than this one. Therefore, this would require 2 components to the 1. So that's kind of a quick, easy way of learning that. So now that all that's in there, make sure to get it all out so that our volume on the B side is correct. Now we're going to do this one time. This you don't have to shake. It is the resin, so you don't have to shake this component here. There we go. This we're going to fill up one time to the line. Maybe. It's a little cold. And there we go. And guys, this product really has no smell to it. So, it's actually not bad if you do it in a, client's home. So now what we're going to do, because the A is a lot lighter than the B side, we're actually going to transfer this A into the B. That way we're not trying to scrape the B, the heavier product, into this side. It's going to help mix it a lot better. Okay, so we're going to mix this for about 2 minutes. So really important, I want to mention a couple things while we're doing this. While you are applying your color coat, and say this was, a really long countertop, and you have a mixing station, maybe a couple feet away. When you're mixing, there is times where you're getting some splashes and things like that on the table that you're mixing on. And what happens is some people, they have mixed that product and they poured out their color coat and then set their bucket on the actual substrate itself. You want to avoid doing that. And the reason why is because as you are mixing and going back and forth between that, your staging area, you could potentially transfer some unmixed resin on the bottom of your bucket. And then you set it here. And what happens when you do your color coat on top of that, you then get sticky spots. The other thing I want to mention, after I pour this cup out, and it's no different whether it's a top coat or it's the color coat or any type of resin in between, you do not want to, and a lot of people do it, and I see it all over online, you want to avoid setting your bucket upside down on the countertop itself, because again, you're going to have some unmixed product potentially on your piece. In those areas, it will not dry, it will not cure. So always take your mixing bucket and place it aside. Do not put it on your surface. That way you can avoid sticky spots throughout your project and future issues. So with this here, what we're going to do is we're gonna wet roll this out. The Fortified is super, super easy to install. We don't need a lot of product. This does about 100 square foot per kit. So what we've done is we've actually de-shedded this roller with some tape, and you want to do that with both rollers. So we're going to have a wet roller and a dry roller. The wet roller, the purpose obviously is to get it spread out evenly throughout the whole piece. And it is really important that you get the whole piece. Now, if for some reason you see a piece that might have a couple dry spots as you're doing the dry roll, it's okay. Don't panic. Don't freak out. Go ahead and scrub it in with the dry roller, and then, you know, make sure to roll it nice and even out. So I'm going to just pour a strip down the middle here. And this is probably enough for this piece, but we'll see. We're going to saturate our roller just like that, so that our roller is a little, you know, it's consistently wet throughout the whole piece. So again, there's no need to panic. I'm not panicking when I get this down. Obviously, I know this is a small piece, but I would be working the same speed, talking with you guys, whether it was a small piece or a big piece, it doesn't matter. We have increased the working time for this product, and we are super pumped on it. No roller lines. You can over roll this, but again, you want to try to get your whole piece probably done within a 10-minute period, which is actually really good. So, you know, the other thing that I'm not too concerned with is normally I want to try to avoid hitting this corner and then getting back on my top because it'll leave an impression on here. But with this product, I'm not that worried about it. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get the front here, I think. Let's see here. So again, get the whole front, and then you can kind of roll back over this edge. And again, because we have so much time with this product, I put a dent in my roller. I'm not concerned about it at all. I go ahead and roll right back through it all. This product has tremendous self-leveling properties, which is obviously it's going to help with the roller lines. I can hit this numerous times. You are going to see some tiny air bubbles. Those will pop as you continue to roll it. So it is important to roll it a few times at least to help disperse some of that popping. Okay. So again, I'm just kind of over rolling this piece. I'm not worried about roller lines or anything like that. Okay, now that's my wet. Now, if this were on a, you know, big countertop, the ideal way to do this is to wet roll the whole top. Again, make sure you cover the surface and all the dry spots, encompass that whole piece all the way down. You don't need to worry about roller lines or anything like that as you're doing it. Once you get to the end, go ahead and go all the way back to the beginning where you started. Now you can either use the same wet roller just to start. So if, say it'd been 5 minutes, I just want to see, and I should be able to feel that on my roller whether or not the piece is tacked up. If it's tacked up, you can use the same wet roller to essentially rejuvenate this entire piece before dry rolling it. So again, I have hit this again, and I can continue to do so. So if I feel it kind of tacking up, again, use the saturated roller to go back over it again. Okay, so I'm totally happy with that. So now I'm going to take my dry roller again. We wrapped tape along this whole piece and cleaned it off really well. So now all we're going to do is we're going to dry roll this, and no, you don't have to overwork it. Again, I'm kind of overworking this just for video purposes, but there's no need to. It will self-level, and you're going to actually have a really nice kind of leathered finish, if you will. Everybody that has tried this has absolutely loved it because the finish is super soft. And that's it. So we dry rolled it. Again, this piece will be cured in about 24 hours. You can start lightly using it around the 30 hours. But again, each level is still kind of curing. So you want to be ginger on these pieces for the first 7 days for sure. But this here today was to show you what you can do direct on your existing surface, whether it be granite, any other type of natural stone, anything like that. PolyKote, all the PolyKote lines, PolyKote Pro, PolyKote Enhanced, they all act as a really good primer to the substrate. And then in the next video, we're going to show you a pull test on this piece to show you the total adhesion that we achieved with this. Okay guys, welcome back. We are on the final day. Just to recap, this was a piece of granite and we wanted to prove to you that PolyKote was going to be the best primer to the substrate. So we sanded the granite with 80 grit sandpaper, and then we applied a thin layer of PolyKote. We actually tinted it white. And again, it was a little translucent on the front edge here, and that was completely okay. The next day, we went ahead and applied our color coat in the PolyKote Pro, and then we applied our fortified gloss top coat. So this is the third, this has been 4 days. So we let this cure, and today we're going to do a pull test to demonstrate how well PolyKote adheres to the granite itself. So we have this pull tester. So what we're going to do is we glue this dowel here 24 hours ago. This is what the puck looks like. So we abrade the surface, get a nice roughened edge here. And we also did the same thing on our top coat in this area here. So again, we're going to do a pull test to see if we either have a PolyKote failure to the substrate, a substrate failure, or potentially even a glue failure. So let's give it a shot. So we're going to set this down. This is going to apply pressure. This is going to be in pounds per square inch. So right now we are set at 0. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to crank this tight until we have failure, PolyKote failure, substrate failure. I doubt it. Solid stone, but this is going to give us a good example of what PolyKote can do. So here we go. And we always want to make sure to hold this when we're doing this. We've almost been busted in the face by this popping off. And we will go until we have some sort of failure. So far, holding on really, really well. Really, really well. And I don't want to bend over and take a look at where we're at on the scale because this thing could pop off. Right now it's under a lot of pressure. This is really impressive. We have, I think, exceeded 500. I think. It's getting dangerous now. Getting dangerous. Get really dangerous. Okay, so we've exceeded the scale. So I'm going to back it off so I don't bust myself in the face here. This has actually exceeded 500 pounds of pressure per square inch. So that will tell you that the PolyKote direct to granite is by far the best thing you can do. And we are, it's so, there we go. Pull that off. As you can see, no glue failure, no PolyKote failure. So this is over 500 pounds, closer to 600 pounds per square inch right there. So as you can see, this demonstration worked out exactly the way we wanted it. Moving forward, if you guys have granite surfaces, anything like that, we actually recommend that you do PolyKote direct to the substrate. This is what the bottom looks like. So as it was kind of tacking up, we made sure to wipe this edge in real nice. So there you have it. I'm actually thoroughly impressed. And I wonder how I'm going to get this dowel off. We did our testing, but I want you to check this out. Something happened that we didn't think was going to happen. So here is the pull test, and take a look at this. So PolyKote adhered so well, it actually ripped apart the granite. Was not expecting that. But there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you on the next one.